Hey, what's going on? It's Bruno the GAMA here, Brazilian Health Nut. I'm actually in the supermarket right now, outside, waiting for my girlfriend. She's doing the shopping. These days, actually, to be honest with you, I just tell her, hey, buy this, buy some meat, buy some veggies, and she actually does the whole shopping nowadays. But I'm actually here, and if you can't see right now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can't see, but there is a huge piece of meat kind of and I was thinking about this topic because are you concerned about getting heart attack because of the consumption of red meat? Has anybody told you that you might get cancer from consuming red meat? Because I know that I've heard this before. I still do a lot from people that I work with, from friends, from family. Every time I go to Brazil, in Brazil we eat a lot of red meat. It's very common. It's very cultural, and I was thinking about this. I was like, you know what? I actually have to record a video about this. I have to record an episode about the topic of red meat. So, you know, let me share with you some thoughts related to this topic, which is a very, very big topic. There is a lot to be said. There is a lot of different perspectives. There is a lot of details and factors when talking about something like red meat. Cool? Now, let me tell you, the first thing that I have to tell you here is that in terms of human evolution, okay, I care more about what science and human evolution has to say than what does the mass media has to say about all this stuff. Because the mass media are going to be telling you stuff to make you curious about it, so that you can actually go ahead and maybe buy something or just get your attention. Okay, that's the first thing to understand. Now, if you look in terms of human evolution, you would understand, my friends, you would know and learn that human evolution, the way we get to this point where we are right now, where we have this big brain, because we do have a bigger brain compared to the size of our body, it's just because of we start to consume animal foods. Okay, we start to eat animals to our survival. Why? Because animal foods, and this is included to all types of meats, okay? It doesn't have to be necessarily red meat. It can be fish, it can be pork, it can be wild animal. Back in the days, there was just wild animal, right? So the first thing to understand is, because red meat is packed with nutrients, okay? It's packed with so much nutrients in a small amount. This actually released, okay? This actually released energy to have our brain to grow. Because then, when you have this packed energy in a form of red meat, for example, as I'm talking today, your digestive system can actually get smaller, which releases energy to other parts of your brain to grow. And that's exactly how we got here. That's exactly how our brain grows. And because our brain is bigger, what we can actually evolve, right? If you have a smaller brain, guess what's going to be happening? You're probably not going to be very smart in terms of human evolution. Okay, so that's the first thing to understand, is that we only got here because we start to eat animals. And I don't care if you think whatever you think right now, if you think you should be a vegan, if you think you should be a vegetarian, I don't care at all about this. I care about facts. And the fact says human evolution, history says that we got here because we start to eat animals. Point. No doubt about that, okay? That's the first thing that you have to understand. Now, the second point that I want to come across today, if you don't know who this guy is, just do a Google research. You should be knowing who he is if you are interested in nutrition. His name is Weston A. Price. Weston A. Price was a dentist, because he's dead right now, was a dentist who traveled the whole world in the 1940s, okay? The 1940s, he traveled the whole world. And Weston A. Price was concerned about cavities. He was a dentist, of course, so he started to travel the whole world to find what the hell is going on, why some population now they have cavities. And then Weston A. Price traveled the whole 5 continents for 10 years, And he actually got into nutrition because he's very open-minded. He understands that we have to be looking into different things. And what he understands, what Weston A. Price found, I actually talk about this in a different episode, is that all the 5 continents, besides, he found a bunch of stuff, okay? I'm just talking about one thing related to the topic of today, which is red meat, okay? He found that all continents, the 5 continents, my friends, there was no vegans. There was no society around the globe in the 1940s where people were just eating plants. And I have nothing against plants. Most of my food comes from plants, in fact, as you're going to find out here shortly. But what Weston A. Price, and that's not me who is saying, okay? I'm talking about this guy who is considered to be the godfather of nutrition, who traveled the whole world, did 10 years of research and found that there was no vegan society. I hope that this tells you something related to animal consumption. Now, maybe you're thinking, well, actually, he's talking about other types of meat, other types of animals. Maybe we should not be having red meat because he found certain types of society, they were just having fish or seafood or something like that, okay? Well, maybe, but let me tell you something more because I have more for you today here, okay? Now, one of the things that you have to understand when talking about red meat is that they are packed with nutrients. When you compare food, guys, it's very important for you to understand, okay, this. When you're comparing different types of foods, like meat compared to nuts, compared to seeds, compared to grains, compared to fruits, compared to whatever you want to compare with, there is different levels of nutrients. And that's no questions about this. What I'm talking about, minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, fiber, things that really matter to your health. Okay, those are the things that really matter when you're searching for something in the food. Okay, and when you compare red meat to a bunch of other foods that, like I just mentioned to you, you would see into the ranking that red meat is very, very high in the ranking. Why? Because there is a lot of essential nutrients that we need to thrive as human beings. Okay, that's another point that I would like you to understand as well. Not to mention that red meat has protein, okay? All types of foods, there is protein coming from, you can find protein in all foods pretty much. Of course, there is some types of foods who have much more, some other ones have much more carbs, some other ones have much more fats, but they all have pretty much these 3 macronutrients, as you probably know: protein, carbs, and fats, okay? Now, when talking specifically about protein, it is very important for you to understand that not all proteins are created the same. And that's another huge mistake that I see a lot of people making, especially inside of the veganism society and inside the vegetarian society. And they don't understand this term called bioavailable protein. Okay, I'm going to be repeating. Bioavailable protein is really what matters. It's not about just the quantity of protein that you are consuming. Actually, it is about, are you absorbing this protein? Is this protein even bioavailable to your body? Is your body going to be utilizing this protein? Now, if you do a search, you'd find again that bioavailability related to protein, all the ones that are very high are coming from animals. And red meat is very, very high into bioavailable protein, which means that your body can actually use as a source of nutrients. Okay, that's another point that I want you to come across today. Now, this is not to say that all types of red meat are the same. Okay, now that you understand what we are really talking about and why we should be having some type of red meat because of the nutrients, because of history, because of human evolution, now we have to understand also that there is difference. And that's the 3 points that I want you to get out of this conversation. Really is the main points. Quality matters, okay? Quality of your red meat matters a lot. Why? Because not all foods are created the same anymore. Especially, seriously, all types of foods, no matter what, red meat, fruits, take an apple, take whatever you want to take it, there is a difference, there is a huge difference into the quality, okay? Into where it's coming from. So yes, if you go to the supermarket and you're buying those highly processed meats, yes, this is going to be causing a lot of problems on the long term, I'm telling you. I'm not saying that you have to be eating all types of red meats. First of all, there is a differentiation between the quality and where it's coming from and the way it's processed. So it's very important for you to also understand that quality matters. Where is your meat coming from? It has to be from grass-fed, because if it's not, there is full of antibiotics, there is full of shit inside of the meat, let's put it this way, that's going to be causing you a lot of trouble. So you have to pay attention to the quality of your meats as well. Where is it coming from? Get the highest quality possible, okay? That's point number one. Now, the second part, there is another thing that I want you to understand related to this topic is, especially when talking about protein and red meat, whatever you wanna, what is the source of red meat that you're going to be getting from, is that you don't need a lot. You actually don't need to eat a lot of protein, my friend, to keep thriving, to keep kicking ass in life. You really don't need a lot. I want you to be utilizing this formula that I teach actually inside of the Dads on Fire project, which is, okay, every time you're going to be having your meal, let's say your dinner time or your lunch time, the way I want you to decide how much protein, and let's say you're having a piece of beef, how much should you be eating? Well, just take the size of your hands, okay? Take the size, the palm of your hands, and measure that as the amount of protein, red meat that you should be having in your plates. That's it. Very simple. You don't have to have more than that. You should not be having less than that, but that's a very good amount estimate for you to have in terms of protein consumption. And that's another huge mistake that I see people saying or making, is that, well, they think, yes, I can have red meat, and then they eat like the whole cow every single day. Yes, this might be causing problems. If you overconsumption of red meat like this, yes, it's going to be causing problems. That's not to say that red meat is bad for you. Completely different conversation, okay? And the last point that I have for you today here related to this topic is, really, now, another huge mistake that when people talking about red meat or any type of animal is that they always focus on the muscle. They always focus on just on this part of the beef or the meat or whatever. They forget that you should be eating the whole freaking animal. You should be eating from head to tail. Unfortunately, nowadays, we forgot the time that we live nowadays. We completely forgot that the tradition, we used to eat the whole animal. We used to eat the organs. We used to eat the bones and get bone broth from that, and then the muscle. And most importantly, most of the nutrients coming from meat is actually inside of the organs, is not in the muscle. So this is another big mistake that a lot of people are making. They're just focusing on the muscle. So eat the whole animal from head to tail, and you're going to be thriving. I promise you that. Don't be afraid of red meat. Don't be afraid of people telling you that you have to be vegan, that you have to be vegetarian. Once you understand what I just told you here, all these facts, and then how to select, how to consume, and what types of red meat you should be having, you should be kicking ass in life, and your life is going to become much better once you have those nutrients in your life. I promise you that. Now, if you like this, do me a favor. Please make sure that you share this with your accountability partner, with another dad who is your friend. I would appreciate you this very much, because then he can also listen to this, and we can keep growing this movement, okay? Please share this with these friends of yours, family, whatever. And don't forget to click the link on the registration, or just go to BrazilianHealthNuts.com and register for the training that I have for you there, for the special gifts that I have for you there, so that you can start to take your health and your life to the next level, okay? So remember to take action so that you can become a Dads on Fire. I'll see you very soon. Have an amazing day. Peace.